when I was growing up, I never like was one to really sit back and argue. You say something to me, I'm gonna beat your ass. It was that simple. You wanna get it cracking, we just go get it cracking. We can play with guns, we can do all of this. I don't look at women as combatants. So it's kind of like when like little dogs be yapping at like the cane corso, and you look down at them like, I'm not about to kill you. I'm not about to hurt you. So I don't see them in the same, like men I can engage in violence with. I can't engage in violence with women the way my brain is set up. So I'm not about to argue with you because you can say whatever you want. I can't go with my move. There's no way I can escalate this to the point I want to escalate it to. So it's no point. Like go on somewhere. Like you just go somewhere. Go somewhere. Just go. Like if this was a man and you had the potential to get it cracking, okay, keep talking. And I'm gonna make you everything you saying, you're gonna have to stand on. But I can't make a woman stand on it. I'm not fighting her. So I don't even got to she want to get loud or angry or whatever. Go on about your business.
Look here, bro. It's popping next time I hit the shot, cuz.
She's like, you a non-factor. Like I don't register as far as violence is concerned. So it don't matter to me. Like you just like it's like a baby. I'm not about to fight a baby. All right.
Wait a minute. I love that. So to the video, I have a slightly different theory behind it, right? Because we see this time and time again where not all, but some single mothers will substitute their sons as the man of the house and almost treat them like a partner. For better or worse, there's the quote unquote good side of it where they just like treat that boy like their husband. And then there's like the negative side of it, the super negative side of it, where the things they would like to say to the father of their children, they say to this child, right? So there's the two opposite ends of both of them being bad. That being said, I think that some of the men in these situations internalize that as what partnership looks like. So in their heads, they've already have it figured out of the dynamic between men and women. And so now the focus is the child, right? And you see it because they replicate the same interactions between them and their mother with them and the women that they choose. If their mother was the type of woman to like, you ain't nothing, you just like your father, yada, 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 yada. And it's just like to what Marcus was saying, it's like the chihuahua that keeps yapping. They tend to pick women like that. And if the mother was the one who was overly doting and like spoiling him, they tend to try to pick women who are, I won't say submissive because like that puts a negative spin on submission, but like subservient and are willing to take on too much, right? And so in their heads, they've already got the whole like partnership thing figured out. And because of the dynamic of the mother being the parent and then being the child, and then there's still this weird parentification of them, it almost becomes like a non-factor where like, I don't care nothing about that. I already know how to be a father, so I'm going to be a great father because they've been put in that role. Does that make sense?
Yes, and it's so funny that you said, because a part of that clip, if I would have played it on, she kind of mentioned that, women putting kids into the father, and that kind of deters them because they think that that's how the relationship is going to be when they get older. So I agree. It does make sense. Anybody else wants to give their opinion on that? So because I know you said you haven't heard people say that, AP, but I have heard men say that, like, I'm gonna be a better father than my dad. Like, I'm gonna be there for my kid. Like, I'll never not be there for my kid because their dad wasn't there. But I don't hear many men, not, I've heard some men, don't get it twisted, but not many that say, you know what, I'm gonna be the best husband.
You know who I heard who say they're gonna be a good husband? Who? Men who had, this is just my personal experience, that boys who have had dads in the home. That's where I've heard I'm gonna be a good husband. So I think because they had an example, and even if the example was a bad example, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, it was I'm going to be a better husband than what my father was, right? One of those kind of situations. So I've definitely heard guys, not a whole lot, I'm gonna be honest about that, that said that they were going to be good husbands, but it was typically when it was a dad in the home.
And you know what's so funny? Because I heard what you said, Marcus. You were saying, "Well, I didn't have that because your dad had died early on, but your mom and your dad were married, right?" But I think that comes with a sense of programming, as you knew how to do it because your mom and your dad were married. Obviously, an unfortunate event took place, but you saw that foundation. You saw a woman who had a husband who was now a widow carrying on, but there was a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? You didn't see dysfunction. That's just happened. That's just life happening. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I think it's just different. It's totally different from being raised without that, your parents being married, if it makes sense, you know.
No, I know what you're saying. I did not live in the house where I seen the relationship this one, but every when I went outside, I seen a lot of I wouldn't say the man was in the house, but I would see the result of because them relationship fights would spill out into the streets a lot of times. I'd be witnessing them fighting in the street. Only thing I could think about was this. I'm never I look for indicators, right? Or things to help you predict behavior. And there's certain things you can see like this, like the Keke Palmer thing. I can see this. If you met her mom before, you could see how that relationship was gonna play out. You know what I'm saying? It's certain things that's gonna tell you like, hey, this is gonna be one of them. And just avoid those type of, you know what I'm saying? Like, just don't date that type of woman. Or that type of man. If you see the indicators that's letting you know, like, no, this ain't gonna go right. Just avoid. One thing when people say, I'm always weary when people say, oh, there are no good women, there are no good men. It's a good chance that you're repelling the good people. Because like, have you ever like heard somebody be like, man, I'm looking for something, and you might know somebody, but you're like, oh, I wouldn't hook them up with you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or that could be the real issue. So people need to internally reflect and fix issues on the inside.
For sure. Anybody else?
9 times out of 10, that's where it starts. Even I would say, even with the blame game, this whole like gender war thing or what have you, is this blame game going back and forth when the issue truly is a need to fix self. You know what I'm saying? Like, the men are blaming the women for being single moms while at the same time creating single moms. You know what I'm saying? So the issue really isn't the mom per se and raising bad kids. When you look at it, yes, they have ownership in that, but also the men. But when the women are blaming the men and saying, well, they need to step up, they need to be a father, they need to do. Is it true? Yes, it is. But on the flip side of that, you have some ownership in that as well, because if you did choose this guy and he was showing you that he's probably not going to be that dude that's going to be responsible, you do have to take ownership in that. But that doesn't necessarily let the guy off the hook. He shouldn't abdicate his responsibility because he took part in creating a child, right? So, but we're trying to find a person who's at fault. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. It's both of y'all. So you got to fix yourself first before we can even get to a place where we can, work in harmony with each other. Nobody wants to take responsibility for their own actions. And I think that's the bigger problem.